Hello, everyone. Well, I'm Manuela Capraro from the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. That's what WAGGGS stands for. Most likely you might have images of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts. I don't know if anyone was a Scout or a Guide. Show of hands. Wow, that's nice. A Boy Scout, yeah. Within WAGGGS, I oversee our open social platform as well as volunteers engagement and management and leadership events. Very briefly, we are the largest voluntary movement dedicated to girls and young women in the world with 10.8 million members. And we operate in 153 countries. And we are member-based, so with member organizations. Our mission is really related to gender equality with non-formal education. So our impact is about gender equality. We deliver that through non-formal education. And we provide girls and young women a brave, participatory, and inclusive space so they can grow as whole people. So it's whole personal development and practice leadership. And the formatting went wrong. And we are here to talk about metrics and analytics that were mentioned a lot during the Q&A before, and defining success. So the first thing is, in order to have good metrics, you really need to know what success looks like for you. And of course, that needs to be based on the outcomes that are based in the theory of change and the long-term impact, right? But now the question is for us, certainly, does it change depending on the time frame? Many people mentioned that it takes time to create a community. It takes time to roll out your platform in this case. Sometimes is a many years project, right? So of course you have very clearly your end goal, why you decide to do this investment. What is in between? And does the description of success change depending on where you are on your timeline? So it's really about looking at how change management gets connected with the monitoring and evaluation, right? Especially because in many change management projects, the change is not linear. The path to get there is not a straight line in which you have your key performance indicator and the target is 1, 5, 10, 30, or however that is spread out. So the thing you see there is not a cobra that had an elephant for lunch, but it is one of the many tools related to change management, the Rogers Innovation Curve. And that really, it's across time, and you first have the innovators that join on your change, and then the early adopters, and so on and so forth. Now, to start with an example, for WAGGGS, our main outcomes are related to the leadership of our member organizations. We are an umbrella association, we're a member organization, they have a leadership, and we want to engage with them. They ask us to provide a global hub in which they can share resources and grow together, right? And then we have secondary outcomes about our volunteers network with about 800 people at the moment, and we also want to use the platform to deliver events, right? But our main outcome is really there. And the thing is, as users, they are in our late majority, right? So when we start, if our indicator is number of leaders of member organization active on the platform, most likely the target is going to be 0 or 2 for a couple of years, right? How do you deal with that? And in our case, the answer is you need to have milestones that reflect that non-linear path, right? And the indicator needs to be related with that. So when you are at the beginning, in our case, that's what we did, the indicators are general performance and engagement indicators. As we approach to that maturity that is needed, the digital maturity that is needed, and having all the elements that we need to bring that late majority on board, success stories, they trust that it will work, so that their return of investment is going to be there. For example, less platforms, they are overloaded with, or less information, things like that. Then we can actually measure the indicators. We can start really working with the indicators that are more obviously related to our impact. I mentioned few indicator and metrics that we use. Sorry for the formatting. At the beginning, I wanted to mention, when we look at success, we look at, are we reaching the intended target? And are we adding value to that target? And we were talking before about communities and what is a community. I think we are in a very lucky situation of having a community offline. The Girl Guides and Girl Scout community, people are already part of that. When in our symbolism, we have a scarf. When you see people with another scarf, you will identify as part of the same tribe, group, community, right? Do we add value to them? And then there are indicators that are related to the sustainability of the platform. Can we sustain this level of effort for the time that is needed? And the performance. And performance is very much linked to our users, right? If they cannot load the platform, they will not come back. They will see, oh, this is too slow, this is not working for me. I'll go back to my WhatsApp group, right? And there is something around know exactly what you want to measure and how you're going to use that. As an example is, for us, where is it? Let me try with the pointer. Here. So with the number of users connecting from mobile devices, for us is 50% of our user base that connect from mobile devices. A lot of them in Africa and East Asia and Latin America. So you can clearly see that Europe and North America connect from laptops, and the rest of the world connect from mobile devices, right? That for us was very important to know, because in our priority setting for development, when we talk with Open Social, speed was our #1 priority, and an app that works is our #1 priority, because otherwise the platform is not accessible to the majority of our audience, right? So you need to know what you do, with the data that you have. Another one is, who are our super users, right? And that's related to the sustainability of the community. If you want them to grow and be engaged, and not to have, 5 community managers for a lot of people, you really need to be able to know who they are and why they engage. And that goes to, and the one above, I think, there might be similar to the one that you all use, right? And how do we do that? How do we know who does what and all of that? First of all, we work a lot with the quantitative measurement and monitoring evaluation with standardized questions. And every time projects that are run on Campfire, that's the name of our open social platform, projects that are run on Campfire have a moment of evaluation for their project. We ask them to also add our questions. So they're always the same for very different projects, and we are then able to aggregate data. This, I think you know, is the analytics that you can find on Open Social. Can I ask how many people use it? Use it? Thanks. And that's Google Analytics, on which we rely a lot. So this is a dashboard that is hosted on our SharePoint. So we take the data automatically from Google Analytics and it fits into this dashboard. And everyone working or volunteering for WAGGGS that has a WAGGGS email address can access it, right? So it's also about internal accountability and transparency, showing how it's going. And then it also builds on the trust that we were talking before. Our users need to know that it is worth to spend the time to learn how to use a new platform because this is the traffic that we have. This is the geographic representation that we have. And again, now I think it's impossible to read from there, but again, here there is a description of what we're measuring exactly. And we are saying, be careful. When we talk about membership presence on our platform, we're not talking about the leadership of MOs. We're not measuring it yet. We're talking about how many people we have and from which member organization they're from, which is kind of important, right? Know exactly what you're measuring. And then one new thing that we are using, and I think thank you for Open Social and Stefano, because I think he worked quite a lot on that, is the leaderboard of the gamification feature. So we don't use it to thrive engagement through gamification, but we use it to know who are our super users, right? And now we're piloting with this very specific group, but that's how we aim to know if the leadership of our member organization is not only on the platform, that's quite easy. It's a yes or no, they have an account, but how are they using it? Are they engaging with it? Are they downloading? Are they commenting? And through gamification, you can do that, which is quite cool. Now, one thing we're struggling with, so I think I would like you to discuss a tiny bit, like 2 minutes, no more, and then share what you discuss, is around benchmarking. We talk about indicators, we talk about milestones. Now, when you have your indicator, you're going to set targets. Which is the right target? How do you define if 5% of people on the platform commenting on things at least once a month is good or is not good? How do you do that? Do you benchmark against yourself 1 year ago? Do you benchmark against other industries? Where do you find those data? So can you maybe take 2 minutes to speak with your neighbor? Hopefully you have a neighbor that is not from the same organization, otherwise turn to the one on your back to share how do you benchmark, if you benchmark in setting your targets. Now, please. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I'm sorry. I think I started a very interesting conversation that might need much longer than 2 minutes.
About it.
Can you share what you're talking about?
To share, I can give the microphone. Whoa, this exploded. Who would like to give their little conversation input? Don't be shy. Yes?
Just to kick things off, I was saying because we're only a year in, our benchmarks are not really quantitative. They're more achievements that we're proud of, and that get us up, starting up your curve, as you were saying. But not at this point, they're not quantitative because I don't think those would be that impressive. So.
Yes.
I would say also that, of course, it depends on the goal of the community, right? So one of the goals of the community is to raise awareness about education for climate. So raising awareness doesn't mean only to have people contributing to the platform. It's also important to see how many visitors you have, because the huge majority of content on the platform, even created by the members, is public. So the unique visitors is super important. So basically, it's not I think our benchmark is maybe the evolution that we see month by month by looking at how many people visit, how many people visiting are logging in, so the percentage, and what is the percentage of people logging in or contributing, and the like, and how many of these users can contribute, because not all users can contribute because they need to be verified. And to be honest, last year we had a list of 2 pages of benchmarks that I was the happy one to create, that no one ever looked at almost, right? So this year it's very more simple. I only report on these figures, more or less what I just said, and I feel like it's kind of enough, not only for the community members, but also for our stakeholders to really reflect on, is it okay to have 25 people who log in, who contribute? Yeah. Is it okay to have 10% of something like 10% of people who are doing something on the platform? What is the percentage that you would like to have between, let's say, 35,000 unique visitors and 6,500 who have a logging possibility? Is it good? Yeah, if you feel comfortable with that and your members are okay, not sure that you need to benchmark everything. But that's more or less what we benchmark ourselves these days, actually. But we should share that in Jamila community. I mean, in Open Socials community. We should share it all.
So as an EU agency trying to influence the whole of Europe, we use a lot of it around similar kind of thing. Who are we reaching? If we know we've got a lot of helicopter accidents in certain countries in Eastern Europe, it can be exciting to say, oh, look, we've had 1 million visitors on all our articles, but if people aren't visiting from the places where accidents are happening, we haven't really achieved anything. So those kinds of metrics particularly have been really useful. And then the other one for us is actually around the amount of time people spend reading our content. We have an organisation full of technical experts who want to tell us everything they know in a 35-page PDF. So if I can, as I do regularly, I say, but people only spend 1 minute and 40 seconds. So if you can't put the key thing you want people to know in that part, so it's really helped drive our content making behaviours of our technical experts.
Yes. Manuela, do you want to, is somebody still eager, or the floor is yours?
Does your leadership ask you if 6 comments are good enough? Because that's something I asked, right, for myself. I go on the platform, I see there are 20 comments on a new topic. I'm like, yes, I'm very happy. That seems good. Like, I'll go there, it is lively, it's good. And then I'm like, okay, but my base for this is 800 people. Is this still good? How do I decide that 20 is good or is not good?
So obviously I'm in this odd position where I'm providing these kind of services to the Commission and to Commission services, right? And they want us to draw up monitoring and evaluation frameworks and show the success. And to be honest, it was Frederick that really relieved me in this way, because having his figures helped me to say what success could look like and to manage expectations. And I thought that was really, really helpful to see, you know, the level of engagement and how many people actually create content from the community he has created. So this comparison was enormously valuable for me.
Just one little comment. We've found, and I'll stand by this till my dying day, that telling stories is actually more powerful than numbers, because they're not, you can't compare apples, oranges, and elephants. That's what we're trying to do. But telling a good story, and I've got some examples which totally transformed how our management see open social. And that's all it was, a one-page blog, and it changed the whole thing.
Yeah, we use storytelling a lot too.
And if I may, to bounce on what was said just before, you also need to benchmark with the situation where you don't have the community. So if you got 60 people answering to a call and sharing their own stories, for example, is it good or bad? How many stories did you capture 2 years ago without the community by doing a normal social media campaign? Oh, what did 4? Often these are the number of figures that you get. So if you say 60 to your stakeholders, they will say, but 60, you have 6,000, it sounds ridiculous. Yes, but 2 years ago, by doing a social media campaign on Twitter, we got 4 answers and 5 likes, right? So we need to compare with, yeah, that's the reality, right?
We use that pre-open social as our benchmark for everything we measure like that, because the number is 1, 2, 3, and 25 sounds low on a community of 10,000, but we got 1 when we did it in a whole year on social media.
Yes, and that's super important indeed to use the impressions stats from our colleague from social media, because these days they have even less impressions than connections we have on the communities. So the percentage of the reach and the quality of the reach of the people you reach is even better.
Thank you. There is one comment there, and then maybe questions or comments or
Yes.
nothing, because Jamila is... Yeah, no, it's finished. This is the last
Then
slide.
we like questions.
Yes, Anastasia from Greenpeace. So we have this debate within the organization about like vanity metrics versus the impact metrics. So a lot of the stuff that we are very used to measuring, like the number of this, the number of this, doesn't actually tell you whether the thing does the job or not. So what I used to measure basically, like if this, for example, we use this platform as a volunteer management platform. So, and we use this also to attract people. So for me, the metric would be not the amount of people that come or join or comment even necessarily, but do we have enough people who have gone through the training needed and actually join the local groups and actually do the job. So do we have enough people doing the stuff? And if yes, that means that the platform is working and it does the job that we want this to do. Not necessarily, because we also very much sometimes struggle with the idea, okay, do we need this amount of people commenting? Do we need this amount of discussion? Like if you use this for this, then yes. If you use this for something else, then no, you don't necessarily need it. And you don't need to compare yourself to the organizations that do use this for this specific reason. Like if this is a consultation platform, then you definitely do need a lot of people commenting on stuff there, because this is what you get from it. This is how you use it. But if you're not really using it for it, this is not your main purpose, then you don't necessarily need to bother yourself with these metrics.
Thank you. I think somebody else, yes.
Thank you. Yes, I think one of the problems we're living in today is that policy wants to be data informed, which puts a lot of pressure on projects like platforms, because they want that there's data. I think for all the people seeing different advantages of platforms, we should start a discussion with policy maybe that they let loose a bit and give us the time to learn what these platforms can do for us, which we're not able to do if they keep telling us key indicators, key indicators, key indicators. I work in education. You know, one of the things, for instance, is there pedagogy for platform, for young people to work on a platform. Do we have a pedagogy? No. Why is this? Why don't we have a pedagogy for this? And this is, for instance, a challenge. Yeah, this is a challenge. It's not here's the platform, use it. No, your example is, you know, young women and equity. So where's the pedagogy to support this in working in a digital environment? Where's the digital pedagogy? And politician telling us the platform is useless if you don't have this number of whatever. It's beside the point, because, you know, learning is not only about numbers. Actually, numbers get in the way. The problem we have in education today is that we are using a grading system which is completely outdated, and it's numbers again. And this is, I think, and this is, you know, all of us using open social. I really like it because it has the word social in it. Yeah, and I really like it. And in the commission, I tell my bosses, guys, it's about social, not numbers. So please keep social in your name with all the changes coming forward.
Perfect. Is this do you want to continue?
Yes, that was my last slide.
Okay, thank you so much.